Now, a bloke who is part of our family. Hoo-hoo.
Is he?
He's been in before, definitely a friend of the show.
Oh, in that case, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Peter Cullen, he's the man that started Reclink. He wandered out into the streets of St Kilda with a footy in his hand. He said, hey, guys, come with me. Let's have a kick. And that changed the world for many, many people and still does. Peter Cullen, you are a star. Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show.
Oh, thanks. It's great to be with you guys this morning, talking about all the good things that are happening out in the community.
Yeah, community's a good thing, and you are definitely a man who's lived and breathed that. I met a gentleman by the name of Ran Harris, and he told me his story, and it got all the way back to you. You've been in the studio a few times talking about Reclink. You've got another initiative now, which is a really, really good one, because it not only is it helpful to others, but it solves a problem for a lot of people who have stuff in their garage, old sporting stuff, that they don't know what to do with. You've got a good idea.
You raised a good point there, Rob. It's called Reclink Sports Share, and look, I believe what you're alluding to there is that sports equipment actually gets wasted like food. So we have a food bank and various people who receive food so that it's not wasted, and that can be critically important to people, particularly at the moment. We're hearing about economic pressure, but I guess I'm a believer that every child, I think, should experience in their lifetime a bat, ball and a bike, because I just think I know how critical that all was to my life, and in my case, boxing gloves, but and the power of the Australian rules football growing up, to have what a difference that sports equipment can make. But also in this time, we've moved away a bit from sports on the streets and the parks and the lanes, and out informal sports are now going to have to be important if families can't afford to have their family members in sporting clubs. And it's kind of a shame that people's lives really become a TikTok or a text message when so much physical and mental health benefits come from the movement of our bodily and the bodily highs that we have, even informally running around in a park with sports equipment. So, we really want to recapture the value, the spark and the possibility that sports equipment provides, and therefore, impacting, on, it's in this age where there's so much concern about mental health and suicidal feelings with so many people. This exciting way of feeling alive through sports equipment. To give you an example, I just remember some of my best life memories is my dad bringing home sports equipment. I reckon you guys might be able to relate to some of this as well, and experiencing hours and hours of sheer joy, no mobile phones in those days. And just a little story too to share about this is my wife came across a family who was going through a tough time, and she went to that family with two brand new basketballs. They were multicoloured, beautiful basketballs, and there was kids on either side of her when Jeanette presented the balls to the lady, and the child piped up and said to the mother, "This is the greatest moment of my life, receiving these balls." So just the amazing joy that this type of thing can mean, and people are outgrowing footy boots, clubs are changing sponsorships. It's also been great for our organisation as we're doing sport in most of the poorest pockets of Victoria or disadvantaged areas, and we're able, money is not that easy to come by, and we're able to use it in our programs as well. So,
hey, Peter, have you been linking yourself to key sporting bodies? Because in Geelong we've got there's four major for cricket and footy. Two of the major sponsors. That goes to netball as well. But AFL Barwon, Geelong and District Footy League, the Geelong Cricket Association and the Bellarine Peninsula Cricket Association. If those organisations know at the top level that you've got this, it's a great way to get to every club and therefore every individual pretty quickly, that their no longer needed sports equipment is vital to someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is all those possibilities. It's actually got vast. There's a real vision for this. It works in well with our sports, what we're calling include the unincluded, and that breaks over to this. That's what the sports equipment's about. But we do sports programs, so it's a really good integrated link into a broadening of the Reclink Australia mission. But you're right, we'll gradually probably either knock on the door, or those groups will maybe through radio interviews like this morning get to know of us. But a lot of the groups around Werribee, like Eagle Stadium, because the factory 29 is at 29 Jervis Drive. At this stage it's open every morning, and we're there nearly all day on a Monday. And it's a quality factory. We also have other initiatives there just to break off. In Werribee we have some physical facilities now that we have been given free rent by my family, actually, or by my brothers in particular, with some buildings there. So we have a meal for about 40 people, and we have health speakers. We've got a community garden. We've got an action sports arena from the World Homeless Soccer. And we also partner with the Bike Hub, the Reclink Sports Share. We do bikes, and bikes is one of the biggest parts of this. You know, if you can't afford a car, a bike can get you to work. It can impact on health, or it can be a great recreation. So every Monday there's it's almost become bikes for refugees, to be honest. Every Monday we see people that walking down Jervis Drive towards the bike site, and it's become enormously popular, really. So we're also out there looking for bikes. They can drop them off at 11. That property's right next door to the Sports Share. That's 1113 Jervis Drive in Werribee. And we're going through bikes so quickly. We really need to source up more bikes.
We'll have to get a local Geelong site organised if you haven't already, Pete. It would make good sense, because I imagine a lot of people, as cricket season's coming up, are going through the kit bags and clubs throwing stuff out, and end of the footy season too. Yeah, you will.
Yeah, excellent.
I just got to find it.
Yeah, because I think the other thing too, Pete, it's Neil here. That one part of it is the use of the equipment, but the other thing is too, if people are chucking it out, literally, it's going into the tip. It's filling up landfill as well. So it's not just that you're solving a problem in terms of being able to redistribute. You're actually having a positive impact on the environment as well, I would have thought.
Oh yeah, look, to be honest with you, most people I speak to, that means more to them than the mission, which is our main mission, obviously, to get people involved in sport who otherwise wouldn't be playing sport, or for whom it is a difficulty to be paying for weekend sport. Sports equipment allows them that opportunity to still be informally involved, but the environmental response in this age, as it should, means a lot to people, and to be honest with you, we've been able to save an enormous amount of sports equipment. It's growing quite quickly, actually. The need is definitely there, and bikes is the same. And we've been working a bit with the Australian Sports Goods Association, where they give us huge bags of stuff to get through, some of which is good and some of which is not good. And they're good enough to work in with us. So we are developing some really wonderful partners like that, and the bikes, so we partner with the Bike Hub, and we have a guy there repairing, but it might be somebody linked to social justice who helps repair, or we've had McKillop School were down the other day helping, so it allows students to get involved in the community. So it is a great site for volunteers, and there's a lot of community formed amongst the volunteers, but we also have a lot of rough streets sleepers and homeless who come there for our meal. And we bring out the bocce and the quoits and the handball target. There's a lot of footy talk, and we had David Toomey, former Collingwood footballer, down there the other day, and
I hope with the handball target you got half a dozen half-wits standing around going, it was a 5. No, it was a 7. No, that was a 5. I hope that's going on as well.
Like the old, speaking in the world of sport, let's get bocce and quoits back into the Olympics too, Neil.
Quoits has got a real ring to it, hasn't it?
It has indeed.
So the other thing, Peter, I guess, one of the drivers for this originally was, introducing people to the concept of community, because for people who are lonely, I would have thought if you go down to the park with a footy or a basketball, or it's pretty hard to play some of these things without somebody being at the other end. So it gives a really good opportunity to make friends and introduce people to each other.
Yeah, the informality of that and the sense of fun brought back into people's lives who, as you said, are there probably, sometimes they're brought there by a worker, or either an NDIS worker, or the chap working with homeless finds people and brings them down into this sense. And they love the sense of community. They like a place to feel safe. A really beautiful meal's put on by a lady in her 70s called Zippy, and other volunteers. Having a meal together, then the stimulation of speakers and some sport. Sometimes we do Tai Chi or Zumba. Recently we had a lady who was a national player in mature age Frisbee, and we had Frisbees going everywhere. And then there's the action sports arena. We'll have about 100 young people down there today. And we're going to have a mobile zoo down there as well, multicultural refugees. But one of the big things now is soccer. Soccer is really in the background, I suppose, or maybe not in the background, is really emerging with our big multicultural community. And to give you an idea how far we're behind, guys, is when we had one of these multicultural soccer days, I thought I'd introduce them a bit to Australian rules football. So I brought out the bocce and courts, but the handball target, and I had the bocce balls not far from the handball target, and I had the footballs near the handball target. Nobody. I went away just for a moment. When I came back, they were throwing the bocce balls through the handball target. No idea what to do with the Australian rules football.
Need a standing operating procedure document written by the sound of things.
At that time, I sort of thought, oh my God, it's going to ruin the target. They're throwing these bocce balls. So we are a long way behind in terms of introducing our game. There's a lot of people. It'd be wonderful to allow more people to experience Australian rules. And even in the Sport Share factory, I've had 20, 25 young people in there from different countries. Not one of them went towards an Australian ball. I said that they could take something with them.
Now, Pete, we're conscious of time, and I want to get to another important aspect of what you do, so we might talk off air about centralising a Geelong point that could be a collection, because I'm sure there's a lot of families around this region who have stuff that you could have, so we better sort of channel that if we can. But we'll talk about that later.
How big's your garage, Rob?
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Rob's new address is...
We'll get to it. Now, Pete, the core of your organisation, Reclink, it started with Australian Rules Footy in the streets of St Kilda. It's now all over Australia, giving people an opportunity to do things that they wouldn't normally have had, as you've already expressed before. But it's finals time, and I've experienced Reclink finals, and it is a magical, magical time, and it's almost about to happen again.
Yeah, that's right. We've got 3 finals at Port Melbourne Football Ground, a beautiful ground. We play every team in a grand final. Our league spreads from Maryborough to Morwell. There's 14 teams presently in the league, and they'll all experience a grand final call. Billy Brownless is coming to see the Geelong Power Cats versus the Darty Aboriginal team, and we've got Crackers Keenan and Smokey Dawson calling the game, live calls, and So, that sets off day one. That's the Geelong team. But in game two, we've got the Sunbury Phoenix versus the Ballarat Bush Rangers at 12:15. And Anthony Hudson and Viney, or Mark Vine from SEN, he's back on SEN on Friday nights, Viney's final siren. So he's quite a character, probably along with Smokey Dawson. He'll call that game. And it's an amazing time. We're going to have the sports share giveaways, the barbecues. There's a number of people coming to do the reflexologies that we also have down on our community Monday down there. And day two, we've got sports personalities like Wayne Carey, Justin Madden. In the early games, we've got our ambassador now is Nick Larkey, the North Melbourne full forward. You might have seen him on the front bar the other night doing his imitations.
I know of him. I don't know of his imitations.
Yeah, he's very good at does one of the tennis stars. I just can't think of his name. He does a number of. He's got a little bit of gift of entertainment, but a lovely guy. And Lester Ellis, of course, the IBF former world champion. So.
And this is at North Port Oval, you say?
North Port Oval, yeah, on the 4th. So
4th of September.
The barbecue going all day. We'd love people to come down. Our people love it when people come down to watch. We welcome any of the welfare agencies or NDIS workers to bring people for a day out. Anyone from the social services of Geelong or Melbourne or Victoria or anywhere really to come down and mix with people and enjoy themselves. To your point earlier, Reclink was born out of wanting to bring people out of deep isolation in St Kilda into community, and we believe in health through community. And our football, in the context of people's lives, that many people have said that they experience suicidal feelings. So many people have said it saved their life or given them life. And it meets so many psychological needs that create depression if they're not there, or work towards creating depression. It meets those needs of purpose and loneliness, inclusion.
You've got some pretty strong data to say that you've certainly saved lives, but more so now even people are returning back to a pretty normal life that they'd lived before, whatever issue it was that engrossed their life. But those sorts of numbers are huge, and it's well worth supporting for that reason.
And you and I have done a fair bit of calling of football at grounds all over Victoria, in fact, a couple interstate, but
including the North Port Oval.
There's not a better community football ground in Melbourne than North Port Oval. It screams community, doesn't it? And if you've never been to North Port Oval, folks, it's a great place to go. The grandstand, the Norm Goss grandstand, is a beauty. It's one of those old-fashioned grandstands where you can sit and you can stamp your feet on the wooden floors and probably be abused by someone who's been sitting in the back row of that grandstand for the last 80 years, as I have been before. It is just a great day out. 4th of September, you say, at North Port Oval.
That's Thursday, yeah.
Excellent.
Just on that, a quick shout out to on the 11th. Speaking of beautiful grounds, the Frankston football ground will cover our regional grand final teams on the 11th at Frankston. So that also is a beautiful ground. I was out there recently. They did a bit of a sports equipment drive for us. I spoke at their president's lunch, went out into the crowd, and there's a bloke there with a trumpet.
I know of him, yes. He's a regular at VFL games, that fella.
Yeah, and we spoke to him, and he's going to come.
Ah, excellent.
Come out to our Reclink Grand Final Day with his trumpet, generating. We invited a lot of people in the crowd and in the President's Lunch who want to, because one of the teams looks like coming under the structure of the Frankston Football Club. We now have a team under the part of the Collingwood structure. They have their Reclink community team, where Collingwood is responsible for that team. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, and Frankston look like doing something similar. So we put the shout out to AFL clubs, VFL clubs who may want to have a Reclink team under their structure and care as part of their community response, enhancing the quality of our people's lives building more contacts and possibilities, supporting each other as a community for people who can so easily get left behind. And there's nothing like opportunity and connection and really feeling your body, being part of an ongoing, structured, life-giving and exciting sport like Australian football. So,
well, it sounds like the Cats need to get on board, and come on, Cats, go and do something about it. Give Pete a call and talk about bringing the Reclink Geelong side in underneath the structure. 4th of September at Northport Oval, 11th of September at Frankston Oval. I tell you what, you don't want it to be windy that day. It's the only ground I've ever seen a ball kick backwards because of the breeze. Pete Cullen from Reclink, thanks for joining us on the Two Blokes Chatting radio show.
Thanks so much, guys. If I could just give a quick shout out, we've also put out a book called The Power of a Footy. It raises, nearly all the funds go towards our Reclink Football League. We're looking for sponsors for our team and the league. It gets very challenging these days to keep putting this on, so we'd love to hear from anybody interested. But the book's called The Power of a Football.
And it is a great read.
Reclink.org. Thanks, Pete.
Well done, Peter. You're a star. I'll be in touch.
Guys, appreciate your support.
Thanks, mate.